been a while. It's been a minute. We haven't been out here, especially on this channel, in quite some time. But we're back. We out here. We are going to be doing some major predictions. So one of the best videos I think I've done in quite a while was that first video. I think it was for the FAMINE Major, I think. The first one. Woo! That was some heat content. Sadly, we haven't actually had a major tournament in Dota 2 since then. So it's going to be quite exciting to see what we've got here. And just to give you all a rundown. So of course, we are going to be starting with the group stages. So I want to make 3 videos, let's say. No, we'll just make 2. We'll do this group stage prediction, then we'll make one for the playoffs. And in this one, I think I'll just drop who I think is going to become top 3, top 4 during the playoffs. But we'll do that at the very end of the video because, of course, the group stage can have a major impact on how that's going to go. And let's get into it. No need for introductions. Y'all know it's your boy Snare. So let's see what we've got here. Group A, Group B. This is going to be an interesting major, largely in my opinion, because of the fact that there's no Chinese teams here. If there were Chinese teams, let's just say a lot of these positions at the very top of these brackets would be filled with those teams, but they aren't. So we can only deal with what we have. So without any further ado, especially because I see that the major is starting in less than an hour and a half. This is the epitome of last minute. So let's get into it. All right, let's go. Let's start with group number A. Of course, Group A, for those of you who don't know, I've ordered the teams here just in terms of their regions. But Group A, if you don't know, is Beast Coast, BetBoom, Boom Esports, Evil Geniuses, OG, T1, and Tundra. And that, of course, leaves Group B being populated by Fnatic, Game and Gladiators, Mind Games, Team Liquid, Team Spirit, Thunder Awaken, and TSM. So I think how we're going to roll with this one, let's start at the bottom of the bracket, work our way up. That probably makes a bit more sense. And it makes you all hooked a bit more to keep watching, lol. So we'll do Group A. It's going to break my heart, y'all. But the first team eliminated from the major, from Group A. It breaks my heart to say, but I think that Beast Coast does not stand a chance. All right, let me explain. Hold up. Keep the pitchforks. Relax. Let me explain. I actually think this team has been together too long. Honestly, they're coming up on 3 years if they do manage to survive until sometime in like August or something. If they do that, 3 years is way too long to be together as a Dota team. And it's starting to show in the region itself. Not that they did badly this season by any stretch of the imagination, but in my opinion, I don't even think they're the second best team in South America right now. I think Okori is slightly better than them, but Beast Coast obviously has more experience, and that's why they're here over Okori, having won that tiebreaker matchup. However, I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel like the same Beast Coast anymore. They just feel very far off the pace. It feels stagnant, I suppose. So I'm just not a fan of what they're doing right now. It doesn't feel like this team is advancing all that much. I haven't really liked their drafting either. It feels like they are drafting for a patch or two ago rather than this contemporary patch. So yeah, I don't really see a chance for them to advance. I'm going to put them in 7th, and they're definitely going to find themselves being eliminated. Although, wait, before we continue, I will say, this season I was working a lot of South America, but primarily in China for the DPC. And unfortunately, PSG LGD, the things I saw that team do, I haven't seen any team on the planet in every other region. The only reason I didn't watch that much was like NA, but I still watched like some of the bigger games. The meta, do what PSG LGD is doing and you will win Dota, you know? Or you could still do what Team Aster is doing and find yourself in a decent position, but by and large, the way that they draft on the side of Beast Coast, nah, I don't really like it. I'm not about this life. So I think they are going to find themselves being eliminated from the tournament. And given the rest of the games in their group, fortunately for them, it is a BO2 group stage. I think there's some games that they can draw out, particularly for the team that comes right above them, but I don't really see them advancing that much further. And speaking of the team directly above them, this one is going to be interesting because Group A, of course, is one of these group of deaths, it seems like. The teams I'm going to put in 6th and 5th are very similar in some regards. The thing that they share a lot is a very shallow hero pool, and the fact that if they find themselves without access to that hero, to those comfort heroes rather, and if they ever get counted in the draft against those heroes, curtains, GG. Pretty much no chance for them to win. The team I put 5th, I think, is stronger than the team I'm going to put 6th. So without any further ado, let's put BetBoom right there. Now, BetBoom, of course, had a very phenomenal showing at the EU regional finals, the Eastern Europe regional finals. But there are some worrying signs. The fact that they have a very shallow hero pool, and the fact that if Lol or Dahak don't get their best games or their best heroes, the entire team falls apart. Now, of course, Lol primarily known for playing like the Storm Spirits, Leshraks, these type of heroes. But the real magic for BetBoom comes from Dahak in the safe lane. He plays a very interesting style of carry player right now. So he'll play the Nature's Prophets, the Visages, these sort of off-kilter heroes that not everybody's utilizing right now, at least not in the safe lane. But when it works, it looks amazing. But when it doesn't, my God, they look like shit. So I can't really see them doing better than this in the group, honestly. Given the teams that are going to be above them, I don't really see them taking any... My logic and my rationale for how I ranked this was, could I envision the team taking at least one or more 2-0s for the teams beneath them? I can't see Beast Coast 2-0ing anybody. I can't see BetBoom 2-0ing Beast Coast. So, yeah, that could happen. I think BetBoom did a lot better in the Eastern Europe than they're actually going to end up doing. And, whew, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It's actually heartbreaking, y'all. Check this out, bruh. Check this out. With BetBoom, I also think that they're going to find themselves having issues in the off lane, because noticed the couple of games that they lost in the Eastern European finals, I think that there were some very glaring weaknesses in the off lane. As much as I've been talking about how if Dahak or Lal don't have good games, then it doesn't feel that great, or at the very least, if they can't play comfort heroes, I do think the real weak link could come from the off lane here. So I really want to see what BetBoom can do to try and protect Noticed more and more, but I'm not very confident, if I'm honest with this. So let us move on to the 5th place team of Tundra Esports. Now, I will put my hands up. Hold on. I'm even going to give you all the big thing. Hold on. I will readily admit that I'm biased on this one. Readily admit. And the reason why I'm biased is because they did my boy Fada dirty, man. So here's how I feel about Tundra Esports. Obviously, they replaced Fata thinking that they've reached a plateau and the only way to advance is to get rid of at least Snaking or Fata, as the rumors go in the background there. Personally, the wrong decision was made, because when I see Tundra Esports play now, Saksa is obviously a more mechanically skilled player than Fata or Snaking, and obviously is really good at Dota, has some great ideas about the game as well. But if you look at Western Europe, right? If you look at Western Europe right now, the teams that Tundra was doing really well last season when they still had Fata, crashed out, of course, in the regional finals, and obviously they replaced them to bring in Saksa for this particular tour. The teams that they were in contention with in those regional finals have all gotten either better in the form of OG and Gaming Gladiators, or at the very least, they've taken a step back and they're worse, like Team Liquid, but are still looking very good. You can still see that, okay, they're not actually playing at their maximum potential. If they can get back to that, then there's a different type of look that this team can bring out. In my mind, Tundra has honestly gotten a bit worse as a team. Not, again, the like replacement in terms of the individual skill is obviously an upgrade, but the team just doesn't feel... The thing that I loved about Tundra beforehand is, yes, they didn't have the widest hero pool in the world, in particular because of Skeeter. Skeeter does not have the widest hero pool. He plays like, 5-6 heroes, right? He's also, by the way, interesting stat about this, of all the carry players in the planet right now, he plays the fewest different heroes. And interestingly enough, well, besides the Hawk, but they didn't really play a season, so I'm not going to count that data set. But interestingly enough, Tundra overall also has the least diverse picks overall. So I feel like this patch is going to be, at least this major, going to be heavily favored towards teams that can be versatile. For example, a PSG LGD who played a regional finals where only 2 of their players, only two, played one hero more than twice. So basically, everybody else played like a unique hero almost every other game. It's only like Shin Q who played 3 games of Shadow Shaman, and Faith Beyond who played 2 games of Doom, I think. Was it 2 games of Doom or 2 games of Mars? One of those 2 heroes. But either way, we are in a situation where Tundra I feel like they've taken a step back strategically, and I think that this patch is going to be, and this major is going to favor the teams that can adapt strategically more so than teams that are just good at the mechanical clicking. So I don't see them occupying these upper berths in this particular group. And of course, like I said, I cannot forgive them for the Fata kick. It's too soon. It's too soon. All right. It's been 3 teams. We've only discussed, it's been 10 minutes, 3 teams. Damn, look at it. Pick up the pace. All right. Next, who do we have here? Oh, let us upset some people. Let's upset some people. Y'all ain't gonna like this shit, man. T1 in 4th. I've been cold on Gabby for a while, if I'm honest. And I personally don't think that Southeast Asia, outside of the top 2 teams, I think that the region is okay. It's not that strong. It's not that weak. It's just, it's okay. It's sort of like middle of the road. The team at the top are really strong, but the teams like Polaris, Nigma, Galaxy C, meh. And T1 struggled somewhat against teams like that. In fact, they almost didn't make it here. Polaris almost beat them. Well, not almost, but Polaris came close to be able to upset them in that tiebreaker and get themselves into the major. T1, meh, I don't know. Also, another thing about this patch that I've noticed is the most successful teams have incredible support duos. I am not that much of a fan, especially of Whitemon. Zephyr, I think, is okay, but Whitemon just seemed off the pace to me this season. Hasn't really looked great in a lot of his games. Maybe it might just be like the lack of synergy between himself and Gabby up until this point in time. It has been getting a bit better, but I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. So T1, I'm going to be putting in this 4th position here, which leads us quite nicely into who we're going to be putting in 2nd for the group. Listen, now, if you're going to make any replacements to a team, I just mentioned and spoke about these supports, right? The support duo of T1, not that great. The support duo of the team I'm about to bring up was phenomenal throughout the season. Unfortunately, though, changes have happened that would make it impossible for this particular support duo to play together. So, because we cannot have Misha in the team and we haven't been replaced by Seb, I'm going to have to put OG in 3rd. Now, OG was definitely the strongest team in Europe. I don't think that's like a controversial opinion to think that. Like, some of you might be like, oh, they ended number 1 in the group, but it was some fluke game. No. They were consistently better than everybody else for most of those games. But a lot of it came from Misha. That guy is really good at Dota. Let's just put it that way. Misha knows what he's doing, knows what's up, can enable his team and create situations to make the game so much easier. Not to say Seb can't do that, because for those of you who don't know, Seb is going to be replacing Misha at the tournament, standing in for him, but he can do it. It's possible. Will he do it? I doubt it. I just think that it's a too soon replacement. Misha has been extraordinary for the squad for the most part, and without him, I still think the team overall will still be able to perform at a very high level. That's why they're 3rd, but I don't see them being able to advance any higher than that. And of course, in terms of a team that's going to advance higher than them, let's go ahead and put EG at 2nd. Out and away, the best team in North America. They did their usual thing, sort of not looking super hot early on in the season, then starting to look amazing as time went on. Come on, it's EG. EG getting decent results. I think also the team cohesion got better throughout the season. I wasn't really that happy, if I'm honest, about how JRX was performing at the beginning of the season. But if this was then, if we were doing this then, I would have put them actually maybe even beneath T1. But he's advanced quite a lot, JRX, looking a lot more solid, a lot more accomplished and stable, I suppose, on that particular role. So let's put him in the 2nd place with the rest of EG. And then at the top of the group, obviously, we're going to be having a Boom Esports. 2nd best team in the world right now, in my opinion, only behind PSG LGD. So, no brainer. Yopaj is yo. I'm not sure y'all understand how good Yopaj is. Yopaj is next level. That guy is something else. In the safe lane, of course, we have Jackie there. I remember in one of the previous videos that I made, I spoke about how when T1 initially replaced Jackie for 23 Savage, initially I was very cold. I was like, no, I don't like this because I really think Jackie is super good. What the hell is happening? 23 Savage will have to prove he can rise to that level. Of course, that's the same major where they came top 8, but let's not talk about it. Either way, Jackie is phenomenal. He's finally found himself in a team, in an ecosystem where he can reveal some of those strengths. looking super, super, super solid. And Skembelu and Tim's as a support duo. Tim's has just had a resurgence in terms of his career right now. And Skem, yo, I don't know what Mushi told Skem. I don't know what happened, right? But yo, just watch the games and you'll see why I love Skembelu so much. So that's going to be my prediction for how Group A is going to stack up. Let's realign them a little bit. Oh shit, we're running out of time, yo. They gotta pick up the pace. All right, fam, let's go. Group B. All right, this group is a bit more interesting because it's not as stratified as Group A. I think in Group A, there is a pretty significant jump, like between 7th to 6th, 5th, pretty big. Maybe not as big between 5th, 4th, but going higher than that, I think the teams get like a lot better. Group B, at the bottom, easy decision. It's going to be Mind Games. I personally think that Mind Games, yo, I don't even think they are the 3rd best team in their region right now. Having watched those regional finals, if it was just based off of what we saw in the games, just pure skill level, not necessarily how games necessarily turn out, I think we would have had Team Spirit first, BetBoom second. No. Team Spirit first, BetBoom second, Outsiders/VP third, Navi fourth, CIS Rejects fifth, and only then Mind Games. I think Mind Games got, obviously, circumstances out of their control, nothing that they can do about it. What happened with Pure being a moron of the highest order. But I don't think it's going to look good for them. And that was then when they were playing with their full roster. Everybody was involved in the game. But unfortunately, coming into the major, I was talking when I was speaking about OG, how I would have placed them higher if the support duo stayed together for the tournament. But with Mind Games, not only is one of their supports gone, the entire duo was gone. I mean, sure, on the bright side, they did replace them with a support duo from PuckChamp. So we know for a fact that they have some degree of synergy between the two players. But I still think that lack of continuity is really going to hurt them. And the team wasn't that good in my mind to begin with. So I think they're going to crash out of the tournament in a pretty rough fashion. I don't think it's going to be a fun ride for them. Now, moving on a little bit higher. Oh, here it gets a bit fun. I am going to say TSM. Another team that has, interestingly enough, TSM has had a player-for-player upgrade. They're going to be playing with CCNC, I believe, instead of Saberlight. I'm not sure how that's going to be affecting the team dynamic. As far as I'm aware, they're going to be shifting Brawl into the off lane, and then CCNC is going to play mid. Personally, Quinn is a great player. I love that guy. He's incredible. And I think he's a better mid overall than Brawl is. So I can understand why they want to shift Brawl into the off lane if that is the case. But I don't know, man. Saberlight, in my mind, was one of the shining lights of this TSM team. Throughout the season, he looked so consistent, so solid. The fact that you could pick whatever for him and you knew the exact kind of performance you'd get out of him. It's actually surprisingly rare to get that perfect consistency out of a player these days. So TSM having to replace the most consistent player with Brawl, who not that consistent in my opinion. Very good player, but I'm not sure about his potential in the off lane. So I can't reasonably put them anything higher than 6th in this situation. You'll notice that OG is sort of the outlier. It's the only team I put very high with a roster change being involved right now. Anyway, let us move on, and we are going to be taking a look at Thunder Awaken. Now, my heart wants to put Thunder in 4th. Primarily because Paka, yo, listen. Let me drop time on y'all, right? Let me tell y'all the truth. Those of y'all who don't watch South American Dota, Pakas, yo, that guy is the future. Y'all, you remember for a long time, all the carry players around the world were looking at K1 Hector from Beast Coast and being like, oh my God, this guy is so good. Pakas is the future, the next level. This guy right here, right now, let's just put into context how good Pakas is right now. Right now, Pakas, as a carry player, right, is enjoying top 3, at least from the DPC season, top 3 GPM, and in the world, right, in all the leagues, and top 1 KDA. The only other player with close to his KDA ratio is Yopaj from Boom Esports. Guy is incredible. Guy is amazing. The replacement that they made to their offlane as well, I think they replaced Oscar, right, with Sacred. And Sacred, woof, That guy has also been popping off this season. Dark Mago has been looking good again in this mid lane performance. Playing a very interesting style, right? Because he's playing a lot of these strength cores in the mid lane, the Kunkers, the Tinies. Just being like, yo, let's roll with it. Let's win games. Unfortunately, the only reason I have them at 5th instead of 4th, like I said, my heart wants them at 4th, but I've been burned too many times by South American teams. So hashtag bias once again. It seems like 5th is where all the bias seeps in. But nonetheless, let us move on a little bit higher where we get into Team Liquid. Personally, I think that they're actually interchangeable. 4th, 5th between Liquid and Thunder Awaken, but we'll see. Liquid, last season, if you'd asked me this, I would have said that they'd probably be 2nd or 1st in the group. They just haven't looked as strong, have they? They've looked a little bit off the pace, if I'm honest. The team itself, I suppose it's the situation that they started the season very shaky, got a lot better as time went on, but still, it never really felt like they got to the same levels that they were. They're not as far ahead of the pack anymore. And it seems like this is a team that can't really perform as well unless they are in that dominant sort of position. Haven't seen them in a lot of recovery games. And I think what somewhat affects them in this situation as well, similar situation for Tundra, is Team Liquid has this awful habit of dropping game 1s. And unfortunately, in a BO2 group stage scenario, game 1 can be crucially important. So Team Liquid have to do you at 4th. Do think what's interesting about this team, though, is they have a lot of versatility for Matu in the safe lane, which is nice, especially because a lot of these heroes that he can play, I think, are somewhat undervalued in the meta right now. Nature's Prophets is Lone Druids, Visages. Well, he doesn't play that much Visage, but you know what I mean. These micro-intensive, cheesy heroes, I think, are underpicked, and Matu can play them. So I do expect them to do fairly well in the group, but I can't see them getting higher than 4th. Maybe even 5th, depending on the performance of Thunder Predator. Now, moving on a little bit higher, let us get into Fnatic. Turn to ban. What a season. Just what a season, dude. Just what a season. Like, wow. Wow. Armel, when they let Chuan go after, how many years was Chuan there for? Like a year and a half, maybe? I'm not entirely sure, but Armel feels like he was the missing puzzle piece, right? Because you have somebody like Raven, who year on year has been one of the most consistent carry players on the planet. Been so good, just consistently, right? But unfortunately, Chuan on the team in the mid lane, I would see these games where Fnatic would lose because Chuan is having a bit of a poor game. Raven has to cut short some of the farming routes, or at the very least, spend a bit more time active on the map when he should be trying to get towards the next item, because of the fact that they're like, yo, we're being overran right now. If you farm for that next item, we don't take this fight in the next 30 seconds, game just ends. With Armel in the mix, Armel rarely loses his lane that hard, rarely loses his lane at all, in fact, but even when he loses, it's not a hard loss, able to recover quite quickly. I must say, I've been surprised by Jabs in the offlane. I think a lot of it has to do with the pairing between himself and DJ. I mean, they've been playing together in this team for a long time. And notice, I've been talking a lot about these support duos. How good this can be to have that chemistry, that instinctual understanding of what your opposing partner is doing. Jabs and DJ built that up for a long time as a support duo. Now that Jabs is playing offlane, that particular dynamic is still has continuity in the team. Their offlane performances together are just so good, honestly. So Fnatic, I think, are going to do fairly well in the group, coming 3rd over everybody else. 2nd place, Team Spirit. Y'all didn't see that shit coming, did you? Y'all didn't see that shit coming. I do think Team Spirit is one of these teams that is happy to experiment a little bit. That's going to bite them in the ass in the group stage. We saw it bite them in the ass when it came to the Eastern Europe finals. They could have, at max level, with just picking cookie cutter shit, could easily have been the first team to qualify from Eastern Europe, but they decided to mess around a little bit. It's not messing around, but it's seeing what's possible in the game for later in the tournament. And I do think that's going to lead them to them losing a map here or there, but overall, this still the TI champions, man. When they're firing on all cylinders, they just still look so good, so good. There is part of me wants to put Fnatic a little bit higher, but I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of Sven out of your Toro God. Not just Sven, but a couple of interesting carry picks there. Also, Team Spirit is one of these teams that, even though they didn't play that many games, they still have a very wide hero pool, so I'm expecting great things from them. And of course, the team at the top, Gaming and Gladiators. I feel, from what I saw last season and what I've seen in the regional finals and what I've seen this season, I feel like Gaming Gladiators is one of these squads that gets better when the stakes are higher. The more important the game is, the better this team tends to play, and there's probably no more important games than at the major itself. In that regard, they sort of remind me, there's some Chinese teams that sort of adopt a similar mechanism. Teams like Team Asta, for example, who look way worse the worse you are as a squad. Hell, even in Europe, Nigma, who's not here, relegated to Div 2. The more important the games are, the better Nigma tends to perform. And I think Gaming Gladiators at this major are going to have resounding games. I mean, let's even consider the support duo. Let's just talk about the entire team. The support duo, Tofu and Celery, the kind of heroes that are very good in the patch right now, I think fall very nicely within their playstyle. We're going to have a lot of Shadow Shamans out of them. Some of Battens is going to be really nice to see. I think they also are pretty decent with these heal strats. Them and OG, like, I'm actually kind of sad that OG not going to have Misha in the team, but when I was watching the China regional finals, involved in those games as well, we saw a lot of the times that if you're willing to pick these more sustain heavy lineups, you can walk away with quite a decent amount of success here. Ace, of course, plays these heroes in the offlane like Doom, like the Underlord. They can give you that degree of sustain. They have a Tree player in the team. They have an Abaddon player in the team. They have a Quaddle player in the team. I'm feeling really positive about Gaming Gladiators, so I think they are going to wind themselves up in a very positive position at the end. All right, so that's going to be my predictions for what the group stages are going to look like. In terms of who I think will win the tournament, I think Boom Esports will win in first position. I think right behind them in second will be Team Spirit. And I think the third place is going to be going to Gaming Gladiators. Fourth place, in my mind, going towards Fnatic here at this tournament. But of course, Dota 2 is a bizarre, interesting game, and a lot can happen. Fifth, in case you're curious, fifth, sixth, somewhere around there. I think that either EG could be fourth or Fnatic, so it's going to be a little bit interchangeable in that particular regard. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how the Dota unfolds. Let's get this hype. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, as the tournament progresses, I'm going to be coming back with another video to do the playoffs and have a bracket prediction for what I think that'll look like based on what these group stage games undergo. But with that, we're done. Snare out, it's your boy.
When I'm killing my old boy.